If you dropped a single M1A2 SEP V3 Abrams tank onto a Viking battlefield, who survives? Let's start with the obvious scenario. The Vikings have never seen anything like it. A metal monster that spits fire, sounds like thunder, and strikes from miles away. Their axes and swords suddenly look like toys in the shadow of this 60-ton steel behemoth. The tank crew opens with a 20mm heat round. Boom! 30 Vikings gone in one shot. Then comes the coaxial machine gun, hundreds of rounds per minute mowing down the front lines like wheat in a storm. Horses panic, chaos spreads, nobody knows where it's coming from. This, my friends, is shock and awe. Overwhelming, paralyzing force delivered fast enough to crush the enemy's will before they even swing an axe. In this version, the Vikings never stood a chance. The tank wins without even taking a scratch. But that's the boring version. What if the Vikings don't break? Let's say they see it as a beast from the underworld, a creature of legend, and they charge anyway. Now we've got a real fight. The M1A2 SEP V3 Abrams is a monster. 60 tons of composite armor, a 1,500 horsepower engine, and a 120mm cannon that can hit targets over 4 kilometers away. Thermal vision, GPS targeting, and enough fuel to keep moving for hours. Inside, 4 humans, the commander, gunner, loader, and driver, run this mechanical juggernaut. The Vikings, 10,000 warriors clad in iron and leather, axes, swords, shields, spears. Their war horses have been trained to smash through enemy lines. In their world, they are elite. The top fighters, the strongest weapons, the deadliest courage. But here's the catch. Axes and swords don't penetrate 60 tons of modern steel. Arrows bounce off or shatter. Even if they climbed atop the tank, they'd be pounding on armor like kids hitting a refrigerator with sticks. Tanks aren't magic. They run on fuel, ammo, and air. Humans inside get tired, confused, or overwhelmed. 40 main cannon shells and 10,000 machine gun rounds sounds like plenty until you remember 10,000 Vikings. No resupply, no backup. Every shot counts. Mobility isn't infinite either. Fast and open terrain, yes, but slow down in forests, hills, mud, or rivers. Track breaks, visibility drops, thermal vision can't see through 500 Vikings hiding behind trees. And the Vikings are smart. Not in a technological sense, but they know patience. Siege tactics, formation tricks, flanking, they've been breaking empires without any guns. They'll wait, they'll swarm, they'll distract. Every cannon shot fired at one Viking is one less for the real attack. The tank crew adapts, shoot and scoot, hold down positioning, reverse fire while moving, keep the Vikings guessing. Night falls, thermals on, engine off. The Abrams becomes a silent ghost. Glowing eyes, flash, fire, thunder, vanished. Many victories pepper the battle, mud slowing the tank, branches scraping tracks, humans inside sweat under 70 tons of steel. One mistake and it could be over. Terrain changes everything. The tank's biggest advantage is distance. It's built for open fields where it can spot enemies early and fire before they get close. On flat ground with no cover, it becomes a steel sniper nest. But battles weren't always fought in open fields. Forests, hills, and valleys are a tank's nightmare. Trees block movement, mud slows treads, steep slopes can trap it. Worst of all, visibility drops. Thermal vision doesn't help much when Vikings are hiding in every direction, waiting for the perfect moment. Imagine the Vikings splitting up. No straight-line charges. They come from all directions. Some on foot, some on horseback, some hiding behind trees and rocks. The tank gets surrounded. It's not damaged, but the crew inside is overwhelmed, constantly scanning for threats. Stress builds. Mistakes follow. Time isn't on the tank crew's side. Reloads take 6 seconds for the main cannon. The coaxial machine gun runs on 200-round belts, and swapping in a new belt takes 5 to 10 seconds. Overheated barrels must be swapped too. Fuel burns fast. 500 gallons on board, 60 gallons an hour under mixed movement, giving roughly 8 hours of life before running dry. No gas stations in the 800s either. And the Vikings aren't invincible. Each eats 2 to 12 kilograms of food per day. Horses eat about 10 kilograms each. The full army requires over 125,000 kilograms of food per day. If the battle drags on, warriors and horses tire. Fatigue, hunger, and thirst begin to break their formations. Even the mighty Vikings are mortal. Mechanical failure, enough mud, branches, or debris can break a track and mobilizing the tank. Weather, rain turns fields into mud, reducing speed and visibility. Fire, Vikings could roll flaming carts or burn siege weapons, not to destroy the tank, but to block its view. Distraction swarms, cows, pigs, and wild horses as moving cover. The human variable, crew stress, hours of fighting, outnumbered, under pressure. One wrong call, one missed shot, one delayed reload, and it could be over. So, who wins? Open, flat battlefield with perfect conditions, tank dominates. 10,000 Vikings can't reach it before ammo or fuel runs out. Rough terrain, mechanical failure, fatigue, weather, numbers start to matter. Mistakes compound, Vikings start closing in. The tank probably wins the battle, but may not survive the war. And in a hilarious twist, Vikings, witnessing this impossible beast, call it a god. They paint it, worship it, follow it into legend. The crew, not tank operators anymore, they're prophets.